have the Hell Priest signal locked in. The target is marked, but the signal will not hold for long.
For it is he that they fear, not man, or his armies. They fear the mark of the beast.
How's it going, everyone? Wraith here with another Doom Eternal lore video, and this time I'll be talking about the story of the Doomslayer. By now most of us have played Doom Eternal and have seen what his story entails, so I wanted to piece everything together in this video. The game has been beyond awesome, and I have really enjoyed my time with it so far. Before I get going, I just want to say thank you all for the support I have had on the channel for the time that I have had it so far. This is a huge milestone for me, as Doom Eternal is now available to the world, and that my channel is focusing a ton on the game at the moment. If you are new here and love everything Doom, then you're in the right place. Let's rip and tear those demons together. The story of the Doomslayer is full of carnage and deceit. He has gone through many trials throughout his life and seems to be fighting an eternal fight. We first heard of the Doomslayer in the last Doom game, where he was awoken from his cursed sarcophagus on Mars and continued what he does best, to rip and tear until it is done. However, according to the lore within Doom Eternal, we can now find out even more about his origins. Before I continue, major spoilers ahead, especially if you haven't played Doom Eternal yet or haven't played the level of Sentinel Prime. What we find out from the level is that the Doomslayer is indeed the Doom guy from the original games. This has been a huge theory for some time, and now that has been completely confirmed. If we look back to the beginning of his story, we know that he was a Marine in the UAC and was stationed on Mars after disobeying his commanding officer to shoot upon civilians. Before that, we really don't know much more about his backstory except that he is a descendant of BJ Blazkowicz. In this timeline, of course, the Nazis did not win the war, and as a result, life was pretty much how our own timeline is currently, with the exception of the UAC springing into life during the new millennium. The UAC in this timeline was not actually completely evil like the ones we know from Doom 3 and beyond, and it was more of an accident that they discovered hell through teleportation technology. The UAC that we know of from more present games show that they have cultists and unethical practices common in the workplace. Anyway, while Doomguy was on Mars, he was sent to Phobos with the team to investigate a distress call, and after his entire team was killed by the demons that infested the base, he had no choice but to push forward and find a way off the moon base. After fighting countless demons, he eventually found himself on the Deimos moon base, Hell, then eventually Earth. Upon arriving to find Earth invaded by Hell, he found his pet rabbit Daisy killed by the forces of Hell. It may even be possible that he had a family that was lost in the invasion as well. If that was the case, then we can see why he despises the Dark Realm so much, since they killed everyone he loved and destroyed his home world. He eventually fights off the demon horde and kills the Icon of Sin in Doom 2, and afterwards the human race was able to finally rebuild itself. However, it was all short-lived, as there was a new incident on the Mars facility which sparked the events of Doom 64. He was sent back to Mars to deal with that infestation and killed the mother demon who was responsible for the incident. Since he had nothing left back on Earth to return to, he stayed in Hell to fight and keep the demon horde from coming back into his dimension once more. Just the first few games can really show us what Doomguy went through. The determination to continue after being wounded and seeing so much human loss would be near impossible for many. Somehow though, Doomguy was resilient and kept going. Before Doom Eternal was released, many people had the theory that the Doom guy from Doom 64 was the Doomslayer, since he stayed in Hell and fought the demon horde for many years and eventually came across the Sentinel people. This is now possible, as the lore states that the people of Argenta migrated to other worlds, and Doomguy could have traveled through time and space and found himself in Sentinel Prime by way of their technology. In the level of Sentinel Prime, there are a few flashbacks, and one of them shows Doomguy being dragged by some Sentinels and brought to the Dags, Rannoch, and Nilox. The Sentinels say that they found him in the valley near the wall in Sentinel Prime, bloodied, clawed, and near death, mumbling of impending doom and the forces of darkness.
We found him in the valley, just outside the castle walls. He was badly wounded and wearing this.
Guts. Huge guts. Kill them. Must kill them all.
He has fight in him yet, in spite of his injuries. Send him to the arena. Let him be judged like the others.
Since he is considered an outlander, they would treat him as a lawbreaker as he showed up out of nowhere. According to Argenta law, they actually don't imprison anyone, but rather will put them in the Colosseum and have them fight. If they survive, then they are given the honor to fight in the front lines of the Sentinel army to die in the service of Untitled. They did just that with this outlander, and he surprised them all due to his determination and sheer brutality when fighting the other true-born Sentinels. He was then brought before the Conmaker, who learned of his past and of the Dark Realm that he constantly talked about. Of course, by this time, Doomguy was probably a bit traumatized by his experiences against the forces of Hell, but somehow he persevered and wanted to end the Dark Realm for good. Moving on in the lore, we find that on the eve of the Black Star, the Dark Ones began to attack the people of Argenta. They came out of portals from another dimension and matched the description that the Outlander foretold. Unfortunately, this may be Doomguy's fault, as the Dark Realm invaded slightly after the Argentians discovered him. Big Renok does mention at the Doom Hunter base that it was because of the Doomslayer that the people of Untitled was able to obtain the energy that Hell possessed, so he may be partially to blame for the end of Untitled. Of course, it could also just be a coincidence, as the Dark Realm is known to consume other worlds all the time and could have just discovered Untitled on their own. After fighting the Dark Realm for a while, they eventually found what gave the demons power. It was called the Essence, and with it, the people of Argenta were able to do so much with their technology, medicine, etc. Over time, the people of Argenta used their Wraith energy combined with the Essence, creating Argent energy, and with that energy, the people slowly became obsessed and corrupt with it along with the Conmaker. The Sentinels never partook of the elixir, as their main role was to protect their people. They also broke tradition and allowed the Doomguy to become a Sentinel due to his commitment to fight alongside the people of Argenta and have survived longer than any other Sentinel prisoner has on the front line. It was at this time that King Novik was ruling and found him fit as a Sentinel. He saw potential in him, and because of that, we can see why the Doomslayer still shows respect to Novik even when he has passed on long ago. Doomguy fought with the Sentinels for many years, both in Untitled and in Hell, and each time they returned home he became more resilient and headstrong. One such event that started the beginning of the reign of the Doomslayer was when a Titan came to the city of Taras Nabat. This city was known to have many of the upper class residing there and was a jewel to the people of Argenta. The city was underprepared for the attack and everyone perished except for those who fled to the north. Though the Sentinels stood strong with the Outlander and fought the demon horde valiantly. It was at this moment that Samur, Chancellor of the Mother God, hurried the Outlander away under veil of secrecy and blessed him using the divinity machine.
We must move. Quickly. There are those who would seek to stop this. I offer you a gift. Take it. It will give you strength. Help you on your journey. And now, they will fear you.
The machine was mostly used to find those of the Sentinel people who are impure among them, but for the Doomslayer it made him a god with fierce speed and power to match his will. Now, of course, since the Slayer was human, the machine may have that effect on humanity, but not for the Argenta. Either way, the Seraphim went behind the Conmaker without authorization, so he knew that the Outlander was the chosen one in their prophecies to save the people of Argenta from annihilation. What rose from the holy coffin on that faithful day was not the impure abomination the Covenant warned us of. The hero within would come to be known as the Great Slayer, the Timewalker, the warrior Khan, whose fire sword would blaze forth a path for the just and cut through the demonic horde with a vengeance that only a god king could summon. He rose unbroken by the ritual, his eyes burning with maker magic. He took the crucible in his hand, and wraith fire leapt forth from the blade, as only it will when held by a true Sentinel warrior king. In our darkest hour, the Slayer had been chosen, defying tradition, our most sacred laws, and the will of the great Khan herself. A stranger to our lands had been blessed with celestial might. This is such a powerful verse from the Codex about the Slayer, and how the people of Argenta viewed him afterwards. He was then able to take down the Titan with the Crucible and stop the attack on Taras Nabat. He then helped the Sentinels with the fight against Hell and was successful in the many battles to come. However, betrayal within the ranks of the Sentinels would force him to remain in Hell for eons until the Hell priests that once worked alongside him and the people of Argenta captured him into Kettingir's sanctum. However, he could not be forever contained as he was freed from his prison and able to rip and tear in his eternal fight. The story of the Doomslayer is something that I have wanted to know more about after Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal has answered many of my questions. What do you all think about the Doomslayer's origin? Let me know down in the comment section. This game is full of so much lore, and you can expect me to cover more of it in the coming months. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something about the lore for Doom Eternal. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video so we can get it out there more. Along with my lore videos, I'll be finishing up on my walkthrough videos throughout each week as well, so keep an eye out for those. Also, be sure to check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming to see other things over there. You guys are all awesome, and until next time, fellow Slayers, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.